want to thank the TPD community and our friends and family for all of their support throughout everything. I want to thank the jury for all of their time and attention they have given to the case. I know they had to see a lot of hard things that I imagine will be with them for a long time. I pray they are able to heal from the experience. I thank the DA's office for all of their hard work. My request at this time is that the silent majority that I have seen and heard from during all of this start speaking up and change the anti-police culture being created. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristi.
Chief.
Chief, do you want to say something? Steve. District Attorney.
Steve Kunzweiler.
So, first and foremost, my thoughts and feelings right now are for Sergeant Johnson's family. His mom and his dad didn't deserve to go through this. His wife and his children didn't deserve to go through this. And I'm confident that the success that we had today and with this verdict, they would trade that for just 1 second more time that they could have with Craig. It is an absolute tragedy is what Mr. Gray said to this jury, and that's never going to change for those folks. My thoughts also are with Officer Zarkshian. He was the hero in this case. He is a tremendous example of the men and women who the Tulsa Police Department and all our law enforcement communities strive to hire and put out on our streets. I think in many respects what Officer Zarkshian did was helped us find the guy who killed Sergeant Johnson. And as I'd said before, watching those videos, I know that this was a hard burden we placed on these jurors, an awful burden. They did their job. My prayers really will go for them because in a world in which we have so many wonders with technology, the one downside of technology is they got to see things that they should never have to see again. And my prayers are for them that they can put this aspect of it behind them.
Steve, how proud are you of the jurors? You said this is a case that impacted the whole Tulsa community. They're part of that community, and they were able to come in here and see and hear those things that you said and go through this.
Well, as Mr. Gray had said in his closing argument, they were some of the most attentive people, and I've been doing jury trials for 30 years. They were some of the most attentive people. They paid close attention. We never had a delay. They were respectful throughout the process. Truly a testament to our community. I was proud to be able to put a case on in front of them. I was and ever thankful for them. Hopefully I just don't have to encounter them in the future. I don't want them seeing me and being reminded of what they had to do. I hope that they can move on with their lives.
Steve, I know it's not easy for you to have to go after the death penalty. I can't imagine that either, but this was such a heinous crime. Do you feel like justice has been served?
Well, I've worked for Mr. Tim Harris, the district attorney, before, and one of the things he taught me was there's only one person that puts his name on a line that says, I want a jury to give consideration for the death penalty, and that's the elected DA. And so I took that responsibility very importantly. Not every murder case warrants consideration for the death penalty, but when I put my name down on that, I knew what I was going to be asking, 12 tried and true, and obviously we put that on them to ultimately make the decision, but I had to be committed in my own heart that I believe that this was a case that warranted the death penalty, and I'm grateful that they did their deliberations with thoughtful consideration. We asked them, Mr. Gray asked them, do your job and do it not out of some kind of reaction, but to do it given thoughtful consideration. It's obvious the time they spent that they really went through all the evidence.
Thank you. Chief Franklin, do you have anything you want to step up?
Yeah, sure. The jury did its job. District Attorney Kunzweiler and ADA Gray, they did their jobs, and they took what we do out on the street and brought it into the courtroom, presented a case, put it all together, and presented it to a jury. And the jury came back with the verdict that they did, and that's justice working. That's the system working. I think for every man and woman in uniform, whether it's a TPD patch or some other patch. I think this speaks volumes to this piece of cloth that we wear that resonates with all of us, that we do have someone or something bigger than us that is in the background supporting us.
Chief, what does justice look like to you?
Justice is what it is. You let a jury take a case, let them make a decision, and whatever that decision is, you walk away with it. It doesn't matter. This was death, but if it had been life, if it had been life with parole, we would have accepted that. I would have accepted that.
How proud are you of Kristi and Craig's son for getting up here and speaking? You know it was tough, both of them.
Yeah, they did an incredible job, and they have, throughout this entire ordeal, have just been rock solid. I don't know that I would have the same fortitude that they have, but they inspire me. They have kept me going throughout this entire thing. Just leaning on one another and gathering that strength, that is what has kept us going day in and day out. And I know I speak for every Tulsa police officer when I say that.
I know this wound will never completely heal. It can't. But do you think this will help? Will this help you? Will this help the officers and the community?
I think it helps the officers by letting the officers know that the community still supports them, that they stand by them, regardless of some of the things that may happen in other parts of the nation. At least in this community, our officers know that they're supported. So we will take that in stride. Right now, there are officers out here on the streets taking calls and responding and dealing with very difficult situations. They are doing that right now, and they would be doing this, whatever verdict would have come back, they would still be doing that job.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.